Okay.
Ken Shore, TagUI, welcome. I'm very impressed by your online presence and your RPA tool. Tell us about TagUI in 10 seconds.
Sure. It's a tool that comes in different flavors. So whichever platform you're familiar with, whichever programming languages you're familiar with, there's bound to be something that you can use right away to be productive.
Ken, I have a lot of Mac users asking me if they can use some RPA tool there. Can we run TagUI there?
Yes, of course. TagUI, unlike many RPA tools, it's designed both as a complete software, but at the same time, it can be something that is used by other tools to build something more sophisticated. So from UiPath, from Automation Anywhere, Robocop, anything else, you can run TagUI easily.
Thanks, Ken. Ken, we are about to see TagUI now. We will go live with TagUI, a demo you will provide us. And welcome to all the lovely people here. Keep the questions coming in the chat. I'll bring them to Ken. I have some prepared by myself, and I have some users that ask me for you to answer that. So let's get straight on to the demo.
Sure.
I'll
share my screen now.
Yep.
All right. So in a short few minutes, I hope I can cover what TagUI is, so you guys have some context to clarify and ask more questions. So just Google TagUI. You go to the GitHub page, and from there you get all the information on what the tool is about and how to use it and the different flavor that you can use it for. So over here, you'll see that there's a free course. Incidentally, on the Thursday, Anders will be doing a live study session on the free course, and feel free to join, and I'll be there too to answer any questions. And hopefully, 100 plus of you guys will clear the course and get a certificate, and you can put it on your LinkedIn. All right. So first, is a RPA tool that is primarily designed to be done inside using languages. So instead of a workflow chart, you design your RPA by typing English, Chinese, or Hindi, Tamil languages that you want to describe what you want to do. And it supports 20 over languages. You can customize it to add your own language as well. I know in India, you have so many languages. So I can't possibly design out of the box to support all the languages in India, but you can definitely do it on your own. There's even a workflow that like you use Google Translate to automate generating those dictionaries for your native language in your state and your city. Okay, and there's also features like turbo mode, which let you run RPA 10 times faster than the normal human speed. And there are many ways to do your RPA other than using. You guys will be very familiar with XPath, CSS, selectors, things like your attributes. All those are supported. In addition to that, you have an image-based selector where you can provide an image snapshot, what to click on, or what to type on the website. And a particular strength of the tool is that it's a language designed for RPA. So, for example, let's say you have a web page. All you need is this line, and you just tell TagUI to say, hey, I want to grab the 10th table from the web page. Then you download the 10th table on the web from the website to save it to a CSV file. Native Excel integration, native Word integration, native PDF integration, and a Telegram integration. It also comes with a Telegram notification server. So I host it on my own VPS, so you can just straight away send Telegram messages right away. So it's very easy. And just now, I added a part on the different flavors of TagUI. There's a Microsoft Office version like this one. If you install a plugin, you can have a RPA Studio right within Microsoft Word. And if you don't like to use Microsoft Word, never mind. You can use Notepad, Notepad++, VS Code, Sublime, Vim, and so on. Yeah. So all these can be done to create TagUI RPA, automation. And people who like to use cloud, yeah, please go ahead.
And just want to interrupt Ken briefly here. Right. If you are just came into this stream is all about automating your Windows experience, applications, web pages, but it's also about automating your Mac, as you can see Ken is doing here. So please continue, Ken.
Yes, sure. And one particular strength of this tool is that other than Windows, you can also automate RPA on your Linux computer and automate RPA on your Mac computer. So it's work across all the platforms. And if you're a cloud lover, there's a free Google Cloud. By clicking on the link, you see a video demo how to run TagUI on Google Colab. There's a already template which you can use right away, and you can run up to 5 sessions of RPA on your Google Cloud. And what this means is you can actually run RPA on your mobile phone while you're on the car. You can actually load some RPA to do some data scraping in the background and collect the results back. Up to 5 sessions. It's totally free. Compliments from Google. And Alan Zimmerman, the founder of OpenRPA, he created the Docker image, the Docker file as well for TagUI. So be sure to check it out. If you love to use Docker, you can choose your own cloud vendor to use TagUI. And then he also created a free node-RED instance. If you click on here, you see a demo how to get it set up in 5 minutes. Also compliments from Alan. Okay. So if you love Python, there's a Python package for TagUI. If you love C#, there's a C# package for TagUI. If you love Go, there's an upcoming Go package for TagUI as well. And in terms of the actual automation, I can show you a demo, but I think we will reach a stage in the evolution of RPA where different RPA tools can sort of do the same things already. So the differentiating factors from the RPA layer is not that much. For example, if you look at this video, collect web scraping data from a website, collecting the data, saving as a CSV, automating it to send through email. Any RPA tool can do that. It's not anything unique to TagUI, right? The only thing unique to TagUI is the way it's being done. It's like using your human language to describe what you want to do. But in terms of the workflow, any RPA tool can automate a website these days. And then automating a text department process, automating Microsoft Word, automate web e-commerce. In this case, is an example of automating a grocery reorder. So my wife uses this every week to automate some of the fulfilling the previous order. Yeah, and things like report generation, collecting reports, and automating sending reports. All these are very standard things you can do with RPA. Yeah, and I think ultimately the unique strength of TagUI is it has different flavors which you can use it in whichever way you want. And I think very recently, Philippe Volet is a guy in Germany who's a veteran in NLP. He recently shared about the Python version of TagUI, and it got trending by a lot. Over 2,000 plus people engaged with the post, and it probably hit 100,000 views. So this is the Python version of TagUI, and I still continue to maintain it and support it in my own personal time. I hope if you guys like Python, check it out. It'll be very useful. You can run it on a Jupyter Notebook. You can run it in Python, interactive mode, and so on, any way you want it, right? So so that's for the quick intro. Any questions? Your question, I can go straight to questions. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to ask you about something, Ken. We've seen this intro here. How easy is it to automate with TagUI? Can you show me how easy I can automate a web page?
Sure. Let's say I do 2 demos now. Mm-hmm. First, I do a demo doing a Google search in the human language version. Okay, so let's say demo. So I go to Google homepage, google.com. Then I maybe do a search type.
And for people not knowing what you're doing here, what kind of document are you editing here?
Okay, here is a text document.
Okay, and that's all it is. So you literally just open a notebook and you start writing.
Yes. So you just open. In your case, if you are using Windows, you probably use Notepad or Notepad++. If you are a developer, you like something like Sublime or VS Code. For me, I use Vim. I prefer to use Vim. It's a little hardcore, but I like to focus on just one thing at a time on the screen. So okay, let's say I do this simple demo. After I create a file, you see on Mac you can actually open it with your text editor. Yeah, it's actually a text file. So now I'll run this demo where it does a Google search and click. And then take a screenshot of the result. So now it's running. Mm-hmm. And there's even a TagUI live mode where you type TagUI live and you enter all the commands one by one. It will react on the screen, on the web page, on the desktop apps, and then you can interactively develop your RPA. But for now, I just write the whole script and run it. Yeah, so wait for 5 seconds and take a screenshot.
And how difficult is it to learn TagUI? Would you say, would I be I'm an okay RPA developer? Would I be able to learn TagUI in 3 hours?
Yes, you can do that. If you want to test it out, you can join us at the Thursday study session with Anders. So in that 2-3 hours, he's going to take the course for the first time. I'll be there as well to answer any blockers, any unique edge cases or troubleshooting stuff with your, let's say, your OS or something like that. Yeah, because I know some company, your IT policy may block certain files from running. You get all kinds of weird situation where you have a large number of users using the same tool and the setup. Yeah.
And what Ken is saying here is that we're having a TagUI beginners session where we will be taking the TagUI beginners course. We will get a certificate, a badge after that session, and we will make sure that everyone will come through. You can answer all the questions. You will have Ken and Ruth as your teaching assistants. I'll post a link in the chat in 1 second, and Ken will continue this demo.
Okay, so now I run the same demo. Sorry, just now I got the typo. It should be snap page to a file name. I use the word AS. Yeah. So now I do another demo. It's the same thing, but it's just that I run it in Python. So many people now are quite familiar with Python and JavaScript because of the interest in machine learning and AI and data science. So that's why a couple of years ago I decided to create this Python version of TagUI. I think it's something, data scientists or people who are learning Python, they can do something with RPA. So I create a new Python file, import RPA as r.init. Maybe I do something with visual automation, so it's something different. So okay, now I will drag my Python window to the side. Okay, so over here.
And I will just interrupt Ken because some chat messages are coming in, so not to be rude. And Mohammed, he says, hi Ken and hi Anders. Hi Mohammed, nice having you here, and thanks to all you nice people in the chat. It's highly appreciated.
Welcome. Is this Hidayat? I know one of the TagUI users is joining. Okay, so let me run this. So I can go to the Google homepage and, because this is in Python, so by default in the Jupyter notebook is already in the interactive mode. So I type a search for Q locator, then I search for Anders RPA, right?
Maybe you can actually try to search for TagUI. I just challenge you. I'm sure that it will get you some results.
Oh, sure. I can try that. Okay. So let me go back.
Oh, UI part. We don't want to see that in a TagUI session, right, Ken?
I mean, they are good at some of the AI intelligent automation use cases. I think they're the best in that. So I still do promote UI path for companies who are looking at IA solution. TagUI is, you can do IA, but you need to learn a lot of Python and machine learning stuff to do it on your own. You're not going to get something out of the box to do, intelligent automation stuff. You still need to configure and integrate things together. So I can search TagUI, I can search for Q, then search TagUI. Then you get TagUI. Or if you search Python RPA, right, you get the first result will be the Python version of TagUI. So let me try that.
So a little bit of show off here, Ken.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like it.
It's a marketing strategy, It wasn't named this package at the start, you see? The first result that is not an advertisement is that package.
Kudo. I like it, Ken. And again, actually, when I discovered you, that was because of your great mood. I randomly came across you on YouTube, actually, where you did a live support session for your users. I was highly impressed, and I think I connected like in 2 seconds with you on LinkedIn because I just needed to get in contact with you. That was maybe a year ago or something.
Yes, yes, it's time flies, right?
Yeah.
And a lot changed, right? You now became a father, and I also became older.
Congratulations.
I just thank you. I crossed the 40 years old, so it's a new phase of my life.
Yeah.
So you can do things like automating using computer vision as well. In do things like even you want to click a XY coordinate on your screen, you can do that. So for people who are familiar with Python, you might ask, hey, I already have Selenium, I have a PY Auto GUI, I have a Python request package, I have Tesseract. Why do I need to use this? The simple answer is in just one package, you have everything else that's combined. It's accessible and very consistent to use an API. So it beats trying to integrate multiple packages in Python together on your own. Yeah, but of course, if you have existing code base that you already done that, then there might be very little gain to try to pick up something like this because I feel it's quite the value is quite low to migrate an existing code base into something new unless that something new has a lot of advantages. But in this case, it's the same. It's just automation, nothing unique. It's just the way we present it, the way people use it. Yeah.
And if people out there, they might be a bit code scared, should they be, or how experienced do we need to be when we develop TagUI solutions?
Sure. So because of the personally, I'm somebody that embrace diversity. So because of that, I tend to want to design a tool so that it can meet the needs of a very diverse groups of users. So because of that, right from early on, I try to create it to run on different OS and later on in Python and Jupyter Notebook and human languages. So because of this design, it makes it very easy to find something that can click well with you. So if you're a programmer, by all means, I recommend you, and you already know Python, just pick up the Python package. It's super easy. So let me just zoom in this part here. So if you are already familiar with Python, once you go to the Python package homepage, it takes like maybe 5 minutes to learn because everything is about Python. You already know it. It's just the API and the syntax is nothing new. If you are you're already familiar with RPA, but if let's say you're new to RPA, then you might need some time, maybe a few hours a day to actually come up to speed with some of the concepts of RPA. And let's say you have totally zero knowledge about this programming and software development, that's fine. You can choose to use the human language version, and you can also choose to use Microsoft Word as your IDE. In UiPath case, they call it UiPath Studio. In this case, it's just a Microsoft Word IDE that with TagUI embedded inside. So let me zoom into the picture. Yeah, you see? Yeah. You get all the things like you write your code, not really code because it's just the human languages. Then you can run it, deploy it, and all the functions you have, all the steps are all here. You don't even need to look up. And when you put your mouse over one of the steps, you get a tooltip on what is it about. And when you click on it, you have a preview template. So you don't need to remember all the details. To be fair, I think only RPA developers who are full-time RPA consultants and developers, they will want to remember all this. For business user, it doesn't really make sense to remember all these things which you use only once a week or once a month.
Cool. And Kent, I feel a little bit like a deer in the headlights with all these options that I can choose between. If I were a beginner, say that I'm a business user watching this stream, I just came into this stream, I want to automate my windows. That's where most of the people are. Where should we start? Can you show us the buttons to click to install TagUI and what we want to do just to create a simple automation that opens up Google and do a search?
Sure. So let me just close out this session.
Yeah.
So when you Google TagUI, you come to the GitHub homepage. And over here, there's a link says download version blah, blah, blah. So you can click on it.
Did you sorry, I will be interrupting you a little bit here. Did you just scroll down on the GitHub page?
Yes. So from the GitHub page, you just scroll down a little bit. There's a link to download.
And I download it and install it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So that when you click on that, you get the link to the TagUI usage guide. And over there, there's installation instructions for Windows, for Mac, and Linux. And let me walk you through this. But I think read the docs is a bit slow today. Yeah, usually it's so slow. Okay.
You don't have to install it. It's just so we know that this is how we install it. And then you can show us how do we use it. I want to create a simple automation that opens up a browser of your choice and do a Google search. in the easiest way.
Okay,
So because I'm a business user, I just want to get started.
sure. So let's say you're a business user and you're running on Mac. You probably have a text editor. So you can start your text editor, and then you can say, I want to go to Google. Okay. And then there's a TagUI extension over here. So if you search TagUI on Google Chrome, this store, you get a TagUI extension. The benefit of this extension is that for people who have no idea what XPath is, what locator element selector is, you can use the locator, this web extension to do that for you. So you can just click start recording, and then you record the sequence of what you want to do. But anyway, I'm already at Google, so you just maybe type RPA 123, and then I right click, okay, and then I say, hey, I want to do a snapshot of the results. So save web page screenshot. And then I say, hey, I want to click into the first result. I note down the element or whatever. So once you're done, you just stop recording and you export the file. Then you can straight away copy this and run it on your whatever what you're trying to do. Yeah.
So what happened here, just to recap and to make sure I understand it right, I just install it very easy on the GitHub page. Then I open up my notepad, type in Google, and then with the TagUI web extension, I could record these steps, insert it in my notebook. And how will this is a notepad, how would I be able to start this as an automation?
Okay, so if you are not using the Microsoft Word version, it'll be a bit difficult because you can only do all this from the command line. So for some business user in their whole professional career, they won't never have the chance to open the command line, and they don't have to, right? So for business user, I would strongly recommend installing the Microsoft Word plugin. So once you install, you can copy and paste the same stuff, and then you click run to run your RPA. Yeah, but if you're a user that's familiar with command line, what you do is you type the command to start the automation. To TagUI, maybe Google, so for something like that. Then you run the automation.
Cannot say how much I look forward for Thursday when you and I will be taking the beginners course together with all the viewers. It will be amazing to get started, and it seems like quite easy to get started with, at least.
Yeah, TagUI, to be fair, it's not built by a team like, let's say, UiPath and some of the other options out there where you have huge engineering teams. So in terms of feature set, we are very selective. We are catering to the mainstream general user. You can use TagUI to do almost everything you want to do, but you won't have things very specific. Like UiPath, you have things with all the ML and intelligent automation integration. You won't have things like those in TagUI. But if you want to do a sequence of a step-by-step rule-based action in TagUI, is very straightforward.
Thank you, and I will just take over the voice for a minute. This is Kenzo from TagUI. He will be demonstrating TagUI today. We will be creating more TagUI automation in a while. First, I want to thank you viewers to come by. If you like this session, please give it a thumbs up. That will help my channel. It will help TagUI, and it will help me because the reach will expand so we can get out to new viewers. So please give it a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing here. And personally, I love Ken and I love his product. So, but let's have some questions with the chat before we continue. Droning Forever, he says, very promising. We'll check it out. And then MD Hayat, he says, very easy to pick up. And 0 to hero in a few hours. Now Ken left. I hope Ken is coming back. That is just enlarging me. He's here. Ken is here. So luckily he came back. And
yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not familiar with Teams. I want to unshare my screen. I clicked the wrong button.
No problem. Right. I'm just taking some questions from the chat, and because people like what they see, Ken, but I'll go through some of the comments, and maybe you can chime in. Droning Forever, he or she says very promising. We'll check it out. Thank you. MD Hidayat, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Very easy to pick up, 0 to hero in a few hours. The template helps me a lot. True story. Thanks a lot, MD. Tejas Seed, he says, how to pass variables from TagUI code to Python and vice versa.
Sure. Shall I take that question now?
Go ahead, Ken. We would love to see it.
Okay. Sure. That's a great question. So, from TagUI GitHub page, there's a usage guide link. So, because this tool was developed over
Remember
5
to share
years,
your screen, just so we can see it.
Oh, sure. Okay, let me go back to here. So from the GitHub page, you see a link called Usage Guide. You click on that. And because this software is developed over 5 years, there's a lot of effort spent on the documentation. It's pretty good. And I to be honest, I will tell you, I spend more time writing documentation than coding, developing the UI. I think that's very important. Yeah. So over here, just click on Advanced Concepts. Then you can see writing Python within flows, and then you get a full example where you can copy and paste how to pass variable from TagUI to Python and how to get the data back. It can be very simple, unidimensional data element like integer or string. It can be more complex and sophisticated. Then you pass it through as a JSON string and take it back as a JSON string. And another point I want to make is, if you are already familiar with Python, then it might make more sense for you to use the RPA for Python, which is the Python version of TagUI. Because if you're using that, you can straight away do the same thing, but you don't have to pass all the variables back and forth from TagUI to Python and Python back to TagUI. Yeah, unless you are developing something for business user, they are more comfortable using the Microsoft version of TagUI, and you have some Python code embedded, that's fine. But if you're doing a lot of data wrangling, a lot of data processing, using NumPy and so on, most users usually, if they know Python, they straight away go for the Python version. You save a lot of all these passing variables around.
Ken, and one of my questions here, you must be a genius building this TagUI. How many people have built this, and how difficult is it to build your own RPA tool?
I think building the initial version, it takes a few months. Then thereafter, the last few years, in the last year, I got a teammate joining Ruth. Then she created the Microsoft version and the TagUI course. So prior to that, it has been just me. How difficult? I would say that if you take a complex problem, given enough time, if you are able to dissect it into digestible parts, and you have the commitment to develop it and hopefully find a sponsor to do that. Sponsor could be like you talk to some VC, or you talk to some organization that's willing to fund your development and so on. That will help a lot. Otherwise, if you want to do it full time, it's really hard. I mean, let me tell you the truth now. Open source today is pretty different from 20 years ago or 10 years ago. If you have a successful open source project, you're going to have a lot of users. And it's just not viable to do it full time as a hobby anymore. You need it to be full time to support all the users if your product or project becomes successful. Otherwise, you do it part time, you are gonna not give the users the love they need to get going and get started. It's really hard. But if you spend all your time doing that, then you don't have income. That's also a big problem, because your wife would not be happy with you while you're not bringing the bread and butter. You're doing all this open source stuff. So you find a balance. And luckily, I found a sponsor in AI Singapore. It's a government-funded entity in Singapore to accelerate AI. So Director Lawrence Liu, 5 years ago, he saw that this might be something very useful. So the last 5 years, I've been with AI Singapore to build the TagUI to where it is today. So it didn't happen overnight, but over 5 years, very, very small baby steps along the way. Then when you combine all those steps, it becomes something very impressive and very useful. But each individual step itself is nothing, nothing wow about it. It's just combine everything together for the past 5 years. Then you see something that's pretty usable and quite user friendly, and as well as cater to different user demographics.
How vulnerable is it? Because if it's just in quotation marks, Ken and Ruth, say that I'm a company that I want to use TagUI to automate my business, then if you for some reason stops, is the process is the project stuck then, or what can I expect?
Sure. On this, I got 2 points to make. First, on the TagUI GitHub page, there's this section on enterprise security by design. So TagUI, unlike many other RPA tools, is designed to be run in a decentralized way, where users run on your own laptop. That means, right, the data never leave your computer. So when you're running on a laptop, ultimately you have all the security provision that's already in place, and that's a guarantee a basic level of security, the same way as what's with other data that's on your computer. So that's the first one. The second one is continuity. In fact, that's a good point. We are actually looking to spin off TagUI project into a non-profit foundation. Just like you have Python Foundation, we are going to form something called a TagUI Foundation. It will be a registered non-profit, and TagUI being started at AI Singapore will still continue to fund human resources and developer to support it, to develop it. But at the same time, we hope by moving to a non-profit model where there won't be VC involved. And I'm not saying VC is not good, but once a project takes VC money, what will happen is the open source project will be forced to segregate the users between paying users and the so-called non-paying users. So the service level and the product quality would have to be different. We really don't like concept. We would like all the users for TagUI to have the same quality of service, to have the same quality of the tool and the features. So because of that, the only viable path is not to take VC money, is to spin off to be a non-profit foundation. And hopefully with that model, we can also attract more people. Now there's already many contributors. You can see from the credits and as well from the videos of different people doing RPA workflows. But we hope to also see even more contributors, and then it will be more of a project that's run and created by the community, for the community, and not really right now it is still largely run centrally by AI Singapore, by me, by Ruth. So we like to decentralize that the power to shape the future of this project out to the community in a more distributed way. So that's the plan for this year.
Cool, Ken. And maybe we should say hi, Ruth. We kicked Ruth out, out of this Teams chat so we can make more fit to Ken's screen. But I know Ruth is attending in the YouTube chat, and Ruth will be joining on Thursday. Ruth, we are looking forward to see you there. So Ken, we will go through some of the other questions and comments if you're okay with that.
Yes.
Vani Mishra, he or she asks, hello Ken and Anders. Me and Tejas are from Rachish's team, and TagUI has really helped us automate one of our processes. Our TagUI bot is all set to go live. Thanks for such an amazing tool. So credit to you, Ken, and TagUI.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the feedback.
And Balazs says that, hi guys, I've been trying to parse bank statements from DBS banks using Python libraries, using PyPDF, Tabular, and PDF Plumber, but unable to get the desired result. Can help to show a sample in TagUI. Is that too much here, or is it possible?
Yeah, it's a bit too much here because you need to actually log into a bank account, which is me sharing my bank account details and transaction. But that's the business side. But the technical side is not easy. You got to first navigate the table, and then actually I urge you to try the table step, because TagUI has a table command where you can say table 1 to a CSV file, and once you do that, you can further process the CSV file later on by combining them all together. Maybe you can try out that one. That will probably be the easiest way to get the data you want. The other way I can recommend is you, instead of reading off the data from the web page, you can consider exporting the transaction to a PDF file, and then you use some of the very useful Python tools for processing PDF file. I think it's maybe you mentioned it, Tabular or something else. Yeah, so you can try these two angles.
Cool, Ken. Thank you. And it seems like you are a popular person because the comments and nice questions keep coming in. So I hope you can stay here for a little while, because I'll bring on the next question and comment. Droning Forever says they definitely went the extra mile, making this easy to use from Word. Kudos. So easy to use from Word.
Thank you.
Gaurav?
That's entirely Ruth's work. she single-handedly developed the Microsoft Word and Excel plugins. It's amazing.
Thank you, Ruth. Let us know if you're still there. Gaurav, he or she says, I love to like all your video, Anders. I think I'm in love with them. Love you. Thank you, Gaurav. And you're the best, Anders. Superhero. Thank you. And Gaurav, again, a third comment. Thank you for all the love. It's really appreciated that you showed up here for this TagUI demo. And in case you just joined this stream, this is Ken So from TagUI. He will show us how to automate windows. In a minute, I will take 2 more questions, and then we'll go back to see how easy TagUI is to use. But Tejas asks, hello, Ken. I'm Rajesh, and one is team. Thanks a lot, Ken. I will look for your solution. TagUI is very useful and amazing. And Jose, interesting tool. Thank you, guys. Actually, I just use UiPath. So a lot of interest and love for your tool, Ken. We will go back now to see some more TagUI.
Sure. So
and
right
remember
now
to share
I'll
your
share screen again. Okay, I'll share the screen again, and maybe now for a different flavor. Should I do? Okay, maybe a simple one from Python. So let's say I do a simple one from Python, and just now I did one using the Jupyter Notebook. I did one using the Notepad. Now I just do another one from the Python IDE from command line. So I do a initialization. So now I show you some desktop automation stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do.
And when you say desktop automation, if people are not familiar with the term, what is desktop automation?
Oh, that's a good point. So broadly speaking, in RPA, there's 3 classes of things you want to automate. One is application that exists on your website and web page. They live within your web browser. The second class of application will be those on your desktop. You have desktop icon, SAP or whatever tool, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word. Those are considered desktop application. Then the third type is less used by RPA, but it's still possible to be automated by RPA. Is a command line tools. You can actually use RPA to chain together different command lines to do something very sophisticated. Yeah, that's also possible. Okay, so now since I'm running on the Mac, I will do some demonstration on Mac. So let's say I take a screenshot of the PC icon, and for your case, if you're running on Windows, you will maybe take a snapshot of your start menu. So I can do something like R-click the PC icon, PC, right? So what will happen is TagUI will use the computer vision engine to look for the PC icon on the screen and then click on it. Okay. Then I want to do a search, right? So I take a screenshot of the search. Then I say search. So I want to search for maybe just search for RPA, okay, for example. Okay. So I'll do r.click PC icon, then r.type into the search bar. It'll search for RPA. Okay, just these 2. So whatever I'm showing you now, it can be done and replicated across to your desktop apps as well. Because all these are actually not websites and web browser. It's part of the OS level applications. Yeah. So you see, you search for RPA. So like you have your calculator tool, you can use the same concept to do your calculator automation. And other than just all this click and press, you can also automate keyboard. So I can send keyboard keystrokes to your application. You want to do things like control, alternate tab, or do other shortcut keys. Is doable using TagUI as well. In this case, maybe I do a command space to do a search. That's the search for Mac. Okay, space. Okay, so the search pop up. Then you can do the next step to search for some maybe a document or maybe it's an application to run, and then you can automate the whole sequence of what you want to do. Yeah,
very easy. And I promise that Ken and I will share the resources in the description after this session or in the comments to how to get started with TagUI, how to take the beginner's course. And in case you want to join us, You can take the course on Thursday, where Ken and I will be going through the beginner's course. I'm a complete TagUI beginner, so if you are the same, just take the course with me. Ken will be our teacher on Thursday. Find the link here in the channel. And Ken, I must say, it looks too easy to me to automate with TagUI. Is that right?
Too easy. Actually, to be honest, I really do think that for the same workflow, if you do it in TagUI, you probably need less time to get it done compared to using RPA tools. But anyway, it may be a biased comment, so it's my guess. Yeah, based on what I understand, because the way TagUI is designed is it take away all the unnecessary stuff and focus on the most important stuff. So it's by design made to be very simple already. So because of that, you really probably would take lesser time automate something using TagUI. But anyway, give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ken, if I'm going to challenge you to automate some Excel stuff, because that's quite popular on my channel and stuff like that, can you do that? And can you show us what you would do there?
Sure. I can't really do it directly here. Let me see. Maybe I can.
And you need to share the screen again, just so we make sure that we see what you do.
Sure. So let me share the screen. So,
and again, thanks. While Ken prepares this, thank you, Ken, for showing up. It's amazing that you gave us this opportunity for free, just to see how TagUI works from the TagUI master.
Okay, so I automate Excel stuff. So I will do some native Excel integration. It can work on Mac, it can work on Windows as well. So first thing, maybe I want to write some data into an Excel file. So I name it. I'm using a VI editor, but you can use anything like Notepad, VS Code. All those will work as well. So now I create a dummy file called and maybe abc.excel, and I want to write some data into it. Okay, so
and again, to the people just joined, this is just a simple notepad that Ken typing in.
Yeah, so something like that, and I want to give it a sheet name. Maybe I call it just sheet 1. Yeah, and then give it I start inserting all these values from the cell. Let's say maybe D5, for example. So something like that. Okay, so I just want to insert 3 values into this Excel file. So I run it. Dash no browser, because I don't need a web browser now. So I just run that. So incidentally, did I have a syntax error? Okay, maybe let me copy from the. Sorry for the bummer. I hope it's not a bug I introduced recently. Yeah. It's
always a sweat when you code live. Tell me about it. And while Ken will find this reference, I have to mention that I think that Ken is one of the most positive IT supporters, because not only did he create his own RPA tool and is the founder of it, but he's also doing the support. And yeah, as mentioned, I saw some of the videos and I'm really impressed.
Sorry guys. Yeah, I used the wrong syntax. Actually, I designed the syntax to be like the way you use Excel formula, but I sort of like forgot about all the Excel syntax since I created it. So the syntax is supposed to be this way, just like how you automate Excel. In the VBA, you have the square bracket for the file name, your sheet name, and the exclamation mark. So just now I did it wrongly. It should be this way, right? And this way. Okay. Sure. So I run that again. So what this does is it open Excel, and there's also settings for you to do it, whether you want the Excel to be in the foreground, in the background, or invisible or invisible. So after doing a poll on LinkedIn of 300 people, the consensus is more than 65% prefer it to be in the background. So I quickly changed the code so that by default it runs in the background, but there's the option to run it in the foreground if you want to. Okay. So now after that automation, the Excel file would have been created, and then you have your data here this way. And in the same way, you can use your standard Excel VBA syntax to write a range of data, entire rows, entire columns, rearrange, all these things that you are so comfortable with in VBA. You can do it directly in TagUI. And why is it so easy? It's because I didn't invent anything new. I didn't invent any new syntax. Essentially, you're using the same VBA syntax for specifying the range, the sheet, the workbook, and you are just bring it here to use it in TagUI. So it's very straightforward.
Cool.
Same for reading.
Ken, I have some more questions for you. One of them is related to this. Tejas asked, while setting value to a particular cell in CSV, I'm getting some weird errors saying expected and identifier, but found output instead. Here, output is the sheet name of output CSV file. I'm not sure really what the question is, but he's getting a strange error here.
Okay, I think in you want to use Excel integration for CSV file can also. If I'm not mistaken, when you open a CSV file using Excel, right, the sheet name will be the name after the file name. Yeah, so you need to make the sheet name the same as the file name, followed by the exclamation mark in cell. Then you'll work. I think something like that. I've come across that. We can try out. Let's say ABC. So let's say I have a CSV file. I have an index 1, 2. Then maybe here's name, country. So let's say Priya, India. Let's say Jenny. Let's say US. Okay. So if I were to open this with Excel, how would the sheet look like? Okay. Where's the... here. Okay. So yeah, correct. So when you do that in Excel, the sheet name will be the name of the file name. So in order to, let's say I want to add some values here, for example, I want to say I want to change the name US to maybe let's say Germany. Okay. So this is C3. So let me type here. So VI. This is a demo.tag. Okay. So this one is ABC. So abc.csv. Sheet name is called ABC. Cell is a C3. So we do C3 and I set the value. I want it to be Germany. Okay. So let's do this. And then maybe we pause it for a while just to see see the result.
And will we be going through some Excel automation examples on Thursday when we take the live course, Ken?
For the live course, it's just a web-based examples. Yeah, automating a HR application where
affirmative.
Yeah. So you see, we updated the cell Germany here. Yeah. Then you can also read other things like read the values by range or rows and so on. Yeah, you can try that. I want to highlight one good thing that we always value is the user support. So I think there's very few RPA tools that has so much support channels like TagUI. Okay, first there's a Telegram, very active group there. There's a weekly Zoom where we meet users one-to-one on a Zoom chat to Zoom video call to clarify issues and ask questions and so on. Troubleshoot stuff where sometimes we need users to share their desktop and I need a remote control to do some troubleshooting. We also have a user forum, and on top of that, very recently Anders created a Slack channel, and there's actually one channel for TagUI. Sorry, not Slack. Slack is a Discord channel, and actually one Discord channel for TagUI. So we also would support a user who post questions there. Yeah, so multiple channels for support. And if you are a developer, then of course go to GitHub. You can post the questions there. Yeah. So when you run into issue with the Excel for just now the issue you ran into, just post to any of the channels you prefer. Then we'll respond to you there.
And I can actually say that TagUI has been so popular on my Discord channel, so let me bring it in here in the window, that I actually took it in as a tool because people were requesting it. And if you want access to this Discord with the TagUI channel, you can just click the link in the description below. That will take you to this Discord where you can interact with 1,400 developers, and Ken actually joined as well, so we will have the best one to learn from there as well. And Ken, I hope you have a little bit of more time. Otherwise, just let me know, because we have more questions, interesting questions.
Sure. We try to, if you guys are okay, we can try to stay on and try to answer as many questions as possible.
Cool. And just let me know when you have to leave, or you think it's too boring to be here with us. We are enjoying your company. And if you guys enjoy Ken, and women enjoy Ken and TagUI, please give this video a thumbs up. That will help us a lot. But the next one, that is a really good question actually. For web app automation in Python, why is TagUI preferred over Selenium? And thank you, Dango Lilermo, for that great question.
Okay, so in terms of demo, you've seen some of the examples I did just now, but why is easier? Okay, there are primarily two reasons. The first reason is Selenium is designed from the perspective of a QA and test automation. When you have a tool that's designed from that perspective, you have a lot more features, options, and settings that to an RPA developer, it doesn't make sense and it's useless. I give an example. In the Selenium, you have the concept of setting user agent, right? But if you're an RPA developer, you won't even be setting that. You will actually want the user agent to be the way it is as a normal human user, and not a specially curated and designed user agent to mask your identity as a user on the Windows using Chrome and so on. But you have all these settings, and it's more sophisticated than what the RPA user would need. So that's the first difference. And because of the settings, right, you usually take more lines to write the same automation in Selenium versus using TagUI, whether it's using a Python version of TagUI or the human language version. Then the second difference is when you use Selenium on its own, sometimes you find that you hit roadblocks, and you need to use PY Auto GUI or some of the library like Tesseract to do all those computer vision stuff using OCR. But if you use TagUI, all these are integrated already into one tool. So out of the box, you already have access to OCR, you already have access to computer vision, you already have access to web automation, all in one package. And on top of that, sometime July this year, we also added the Telegram integration, which means as part of your RPA automation, you can easily fire off a Telegram notification to yourself, to your team, and so on, right from the TagUI workflow. And the web server for the Telegram we are hosting it. So and we don't collect any user data of the messages. We only collect the particular user ID. Which ID is sending messages. We just drop away and truncate away the user data. We don't want to hold that data at all. So we just send a message to the user, and then you can straight away do all this notification. So you can't do that with Selenium because it's designed specifically just for web automation.
Ken, thank you. Next question. Gaurav earlier was having fear of coding, but I wanted to become a developer. Then I found YouTube channel on Jensen. Thanks a lot, Gaurav. That's nice of you. And Imagonti Willie asked, "Hi Ken, thanks for this fantastic tool. It will be affordable for small, medium businesses to implement automation using TagUI. We already use it for finance and accounting purposes in Jakarta, Indonesia." So that was another nice comment for you, Ken. It seems that you are very popular. And this video is actually quite popular. This not quite popular, it's very popular, this stream. So, and Philip Yeo, hey Philip, thanks for being here. Can TagUI's API step do other post get method, maybe put or delete?
Yes. So that's a good question. So again, from the GitHub page, you just click on usage guide.
Ken. Yeah. What do you need to remember now?
Use your screen. Okay. So from the GitHub page, you go to.
We still need to see. Yeah, you're here.
Here. Okay. You need to from the GitHub page, you click on usage guide, and from there you have a reference on the steps. Or you can search API. Yeah, for example. So you search API. Then you get the API step. And when you go to this documentation here, it shows you how to do all this setting of data. And then for your particular question, you want to have more control, like doing a post, get, put, or whatever. So you can click this example. So last month, I happened to meet the CEO of Untitled AI. He was visiting Singapore. So we had a tea together. And the thing that came out from that meeting was that he actually created a tutorial how to do machine learning classification and inferencing using TagUI. And you can go to this example to do this, giving some invoices and sending the API call and then getting the result back. You can copy. I tested the code already, it works. Yeah, and all this will give you a more sophisticated example of using the API call and API step. All the posts, all this you can modify accordingly. Yeah, and how to get here from the GitHub, you come to a usage guide and you search for API and you get all these links. Yeah.
That's very, very cool, Ken. And thanks for a question. And Philip, he has a great question. One more great question. He asked, how is TagUI compared to other open source RPA tools?
Oh, that's a great question. So if you are from a business user perspective and a general developer perspective, I think TagUI and OpenRPA will be something you look at. And if you're from a UiPath background, then definitely go for OpenRPA. I can prove it. So OpenRPA. I just want to get a screenshot. So if you're from UiPath background, you realize that, hey, OpenRPA, the user interface reminds you of UiPath. So you are going to get started very quickly because the concepts and the toolbar and the layout, the workflow is very similar to UiPath. You have very little learning curve. So definitely want to check out OpenRPA. Then if you're a Python developer, depending on the use case and your users' needs, right, you might want to check out the Python version of TagUI. Okay. From here, search install RPA, or you Google RPA Python or Python RPA, you come to the same page anyway. So from here, you have a very easy to use, accessible, and lightweight API for doing all your RPA needs in Python. So this is where you will go. But for some users who are into Python, developers into Python, but you want to focus more on the cloud. So in that case, then I'll recommend you to check out Robocop because they are building a very good, highly secure cloud for doing RPA in Python. Yeah, using the Robocop framework, which is based on the RPA, very popular robot framework. Yeah, so do check out Robocop as well. Then the other one, that's sort of like doing a little bit of everything quite well is OpenBots. Let me show you.
And Ken, while you search for OpenBots, I'll say I admire your honesty that you actually can talk and recommend some of the other open source RPA tools in ways that it's not just TagUI. I think we all appreciate your honesty. Thank you, Ken.
Welcome. Yeah. Anyway, we are all in this together. Open source RPA space. Yeah. We are competitors, yes, but in fact, the last few weeks I've been promoting OpenRPA a lot. Yeah, I really like Alan and what he has created. I think his tool deserves to be known by more people and be used by more people. So this year I will spend more effort to promote OpenRPA. Yeah, I will still promote TagUI, but I will also spend some of my time to promote OpenRPA. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So from here, OpenBots, from TagUI homepage, you see OpenBot actually. They already have integration with TagUI to run TagUI robots and orchestrate TagUI robots. And it's I would say if you want a well-developed and wholesome, complete RPA tool, I think OpenBots is the one you should check out. Yeah, because let me show you. I can also prove this. So if you go to OpenBots website, you realize that they already break up their their layout has slightly changed. I see they already break up their platform to the studio, the cloud server, and intelligent document processing, process discovery, and so on. So in terms of maturity to being close to commercial RPA tool, I think they are pretty close compared to the other open source RPA tool, where OpenBots, they have all this building bricks in place, but Robocop is more focused on the cloud server side here. Yeah, they are more focusing on the studio and the cloud server side, not so much of process discovery or intelligent document processing. Robocop, no. And then for TagUI, right from day one, I like decentralized software system. I don't like the cloud. I don't like centralized software system because I think centralized software systems. Okay. Anyway, that's another topic lah. It's all about business and power, But I like decentralized software systems, which is why from the start I did you have to run in a decentralized way. So it's by default it's not designed to run on the cloud, but there's already Docker and other cloud options from the TagUI website that you can use.
And please and please stay on this webpage, Ken. Don't stop screen sharing, because I want to ask a question which will combine a question from the chat. Because MD Hidayat, hey, and MD, you're a huge support. Thanks for that. There's a question: can TagUI run unattended? And before you answer that, I will talk a little bit about this screenshot, because I can see here that it says cloud orchestration packages from only $49. Is that open source, you think? And can we orchestrate things unattendedly in TagUI? Go ahead. Okay,
so maybe I answer this part here. So OpenBots is open source in terms of its robot is free, its orchestrator is also free. However, if you want to run on their cloud, then it has a price, because that has a cost to them. Like I think they are running Azure, I can't remember. Not sure whether they have migrated. But so whenever you run on a vendor cloud, right, there will be a cost to them. So it's very hard for that to be completely free. Otherwise, the more users they have, the more money they will lose every month. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So for that, it's not. Then for TagUI unattended, yes, but it depends on your definition of unattended. If you mean you run the automation, you schedule the job, and at a certain time you run on your laptop while you're not there, that's doable. But if you're talking about your laptop being shut off and suddenly you boot up and run without, I don't think it can be done that way. You still need to schedule a job so that you power up your laptop and so on. And if you want to run it on the cloud, then you can run unattended, because on the cloud it's more like having a virtual machine, and then you make sure the virtual machine is logged in and you can run that unattended. That's easier. But for a physical machine, you can't really run RPA when it's power off, right? So that one, no. When it's on, you can schedule. Yeah.
Cool. Great answer. And before we jump to the next question and comment, let me share a fun story about Ken with you. Because prior to this session, like 5 minutes before, Ken said, "Oh, I'm not sure I can that I can put out much interesting content more than 20 minutes." And here he go. He talked for 1 hour, and we're still there and enjoying his product. Not only his product, but also his general knowledge. So thank you again, Ken. And Jose Miguel says TagUI is free to use? UiPath is very expensive. TagUI could be a low-cost alternative. Is TagUI completely free to use? I know you might have answered that, but it can be hard to comprehend. So
yes, okay, that's a good question. I'm not sure whether this is Jose Miguel that I know in my previous role. But anyway, so yes, TagUI is totally free to use. There is no mechanism or any way for you to pay us money. Yeah, let's put it this way. Even if you want to pay us money, there's no bank account which you can transfer. There's no PayPal account which you can pay us money. It's totally free to use. All its features are free. The cloud version, there's a cloud version that's sponsored by Alan Zimmerman. That's free. But if you want to run the Docker image on your own cloud vendor, that's fine. Then you just pay for your Azure, GCP, AWS. So, but the Docker image, everything is free. Support is free as well. Then you might ask, how is this sustainable? And that's because the TagUI project is being incubated and developed at this organization called AI Singapore, which essentially is taking government money, taxpayer money to promote AI and accelerate AI in Singapore. And as part of this mission, there's a small part that does RPA. That's why there is a constant and robust source of funding for doing all this RPA work for TagUI for free, without having a business model or charging for users and so on. Then as a next step, which I covered earlier, we are actually wanting to take the logical leap to move this to a foundation model where we register a non-profit entity, and then we move TagUI IP out of AI Singapore into the non-profit, something like Python Foundation. So you realize that at a Python Foundation, right, there's no such concept called shareholders. There's no concept of shares in the non-profit. So that will be the same for TagUI. There will be no shareholders. There will be just a board of directors. There will be members. There will be community contributors, but there's nobody holding any share, and the IP belong to that non-profit. So there's no way to so-called charge a fee for using it. So you'll be forever free. Yeah.
And I will just add one personal thing. What do you think of my new camera? Can you see an improved quality? That's to the viewers out there, not to you, Ken, because I made it to work. I think it looks better, but let me know in the chat if you think I improved the quality. And we have more questions, Ken, believe it or not. Dan Guillermo asks a great question. Can I run a headless browser using TagUI?
Yes. Let's say you are using human language version.
Are you showing
so what
something?
you do is let me open the command prompt. Okay.
Are you showing us something, Ken? It's or should we just imagine?
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So from the command prompt, instead of running your workflow like this, you just run the headless mode. Then you'll run the browser in the headless way. The same for the Python version. There's a flag for you to run in headlessly. So for the benefit of other attendees on the call, headless means the browser doesn't show up. You don't actually see the web browser on your screen. In some cases, you don't even see the Chrome icon on the taskbar. Yeah, so headless. It doesn't render the web page. Yeah, you can do that. Yes.
That's very, very cool, Ken. Thank you. And people saying that the camera looks better. Thank you. And just give me feedback on the production. But going back to TagUI, Kaisen asks, is there an on-premise version available? And you might have answered that earlier as well. But let's be very specific.
What version?
Is there an on-premise solution?
Okay, on-premise version, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great question. So for TagUI, I designed it primarily on-premise first, then cloud secondary. So if you look at the documentation, there's a section on enterprise security by design. So it's designed to be able to run on-premise by default. It's designed to be able to be run without internet access. Even for the Python package as well, you can actually, there's functions for you to download it on a computer with internet access and then move to your intranet easily. So that all these considerations are being considered already. So you can easily do that despite not having internet access, despite having firewall policy that block you from accessing pages like GitHub and other websites. There are ways to download and move it to your intranet to use. Yep.
Thank you, Ken. And to an on-premise solution to run attended bots, Kaisen said he asked to that. But yeah, thank you, Ken. And I think we are running out of questions, so I will give it 1 minute to put in more questions in the chat for Ken. Ken is so kind with his time that he wants us to answer that. And if you want more TagUI, you can find the live event this Thursday here on this channel, where I will be going through the beginner's course, and I will do it with you there in the live chat, and we will have the best two teachers available. That will be Ken here and Ruth, which who is another expert TagUI developer. Is that right, Ken?
Yes, that's right. And I want to flag out something. We did create TagUI, but it is under AI Singapore. So without AI Singapore, without Lawrence Liu, my director, that this project wouldn't exist, because he believed in the project. He believed in open source. For the last few years, he's been very forthcoming in supporting the project and making sure it still can go on. So that's the reason it's here today.
So let's thank Lawrence as well, not only Ken and Ruth, but also Lawrence. A big kudos, Lawrence, if you're watching this. Otherwise, Ken will bring it to you, I'm sure. Ken, we are about to wrap up. Is there anything you want to add?
Have fun with RPA. It's a new space for many people, but don't worry, there are many resources. Like, for example, Anders has so much videos about different RPA tools. Check it out. There are various mediums. There's videos, there's articles. So just choose a platform and a medium you are comfortable with, and see you guys for the Thursday course.
Ken, I like what you do. See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you, Ken. The stream is now closed. I will